Why? Because we've got a lot of whiteboarding to do. But I don't have a whiteboard, so we have a lot of cardboarding to do today. And I need your help. I need you to fact check me. So if you have my number, feel free to text me during this episode because we're getting into the city org chart. No title music, no breaks today. We're getting straight into it. We are broadcasting live from my house. Welcome. I'm so glad you could come today. My house is not a local business that you can visit. However, I have branded my house, the Gold Mine. It's lit. That's my Travis Scott voice. So if you come to a party, there is swag. Okay, let's get into it. So, as you know, we are in a city transition this year, which is the whole reason the Portland Tea Party exists. We are looking at what's happening. I'm explaining it to you very succinctly. I hope, okay, not succinctly, but in a way that's easy to understand. Because if you're not already in government and not already familiar with everything, it could be very confusing, especially the current org chart. And I'm going to show you what it looks like and what's changing and why that matters and why I think it's really good too. Now, caveat is that, first of all, I'm not an expert in this. I just really love org charts. What's not to love? Clear hierarchy, and not like oppressive hierarchy, like a dictatorship, but like putting everybody into their zones of genius and making sure the organization can work in the best way possible. The same way, a soccer team has to have players and coaches and trainers and many more support people behind them to work best. And people have to answer to certain people for accountability. That is what an org chart is. And of course, we want our government, our cities to have accountability. So this is how it works now and then how it's going to work. And we're going to do it in the simplest way possible. Post-its and cardboard. Again, I might get some of these things wrong or a little off. So drop in the comments if you know something I don't know. And also, a lot of this is subject to change. Like they might realize this isn't quite working as we wanted to and tweak some things. The new mayor might change things. New council might change things. But the most important thing to know right now is that I'm making this video in mid-April. And these things are already happening, even though our new form of government doesn't go into effect until January 1st, 2025. This stuff is already going into effect. So we need to start knowing what's going on in real time and adjusting. So first, let's start with what does the city org chart look like now? Or what did it look like, maybe 6 months ago when we were voting on this charter? No, we voted on charter reform in 22. So before we started putting the wheels in motion, what did the org chart look like? Okay, so bear with me as I dip down to get my Post-its because I can't keep them all. They don't stick to the shirt. Okay, so right now we have a mayor, right? That's the mayor. His name is Ted Wheeler. And then we have commissioners. The commissioners are like this. Now, the way it works right now is the commissioners are our city council. They get to vote on things, make policy, make those decisions on our behalf for the city. The mayor is a commissioner in that way. He sits on that city council, but he has some other powers as well. But not, it's complicated. So what happens then is that each commissioner is over a group of bureaus. So we have like 20 or so bureaus, right? And different offices and things. So the mayor is over things like, some offices like, Office of Management and Finance is kind of their own thing. Police, his office oversees like the some of the homelessness stuff, but not all of it. And then the commissioners each have a collection of bureaus that they oversee. What could be wrong or difficult about this current org chart? Well, let me tell you a few things. In a business, which I know our government's not a business, but in a business or a nonprofit, you've got a CEO or executive director, and then you've got maybe like the other chiefs that specialize in different things. And then directors, managers, workers, coordinators, assistants, the people on the ground doing the actual work, right? And our city has about 6,800 employees. So we got to have some structure to that. Well, in this chart, you've got what they call 5 CEOs over their own kind of org chart. And you can see why that would be difficult. Also, there may be a bit of a conflict of interest because this commissioner might want their bureaus to do a certain thing, or since their office manages the directors of each bureau, they might be talking about something, but then on a policy level, something different might be needed, or it's difficult to represent the people as well as the bureaus sometimes. Sometimes not. And I think our council is actually, from all reports, like quite functional right now, especially considering 3 of them are running against each other for mayor. He's out. He's like coasting till the end. He's not. He's working. And then the other one is running for city council again. So they're all campaigning and they are doing policy, city council stuff, and they're managing these bureaus. That's a little too much, I think. I know I get spread thin if I'm trying to do that many things, and I've never even done all those things at once before. So let's see what's changing. First of all, this kind of format is maybe good for like a small town, small city, but Portland has grown so much since we put this into place. So now we got to get serious and we got to get way more functional. And I think we can all agree that the city could function better. Guess what? We voted it in to function better. And a big part of that is the org chart. That might feel not so exciting to you. You might be more excited about like the new city council or rate choice voting, which are the other parts of charter reform. We'll get to those things later. They are really exciting, but I want y'all to pay attention to how this changes too, because it's really important. So now these commissioners go away. I mean, they don't necessarily go away who they are, but the roles go away. Now we're going to have, the other problem with the commissioners, I will say, is that they don't have to be from a certain area of the city. So they could all live in the same block and still be commissioners. So what is the representation happening there? Is there interest in representing the whole entire city? You decide. Now we have 4 districts. That is a really exciting part of the charter reform. When we vote in November, we won't vote on these things in May in the primary. No. Primary is for federal elections, some bills, some things like that. Now we're going to have a city council that's representative. So over here, council, another council person. Why do they all have 1s on them? Because District 1 gets 3 council members just to themselves. We have 4 districts. Our city is split in 4. And the process for figuring out those districts was democratic. And we'll do another episode on that. Now, we've got District 2. They also get 3. Can you guess how many District 3 gets? If you said 3, you win. And then this. Now, if you're a grumpy person sitting at home, you're like, we can't afford all those counselors. That's ridiculous. Why are we having to? Well, listen, they don't need as big of an office now, right? Because when we have this form of government that's running bureaus, all of a sudden they need to have like 8 people working in their office. In this format, they're only each going to have 1 aide. So look at how many people has been reduced already. And then they'll have a shared office in their district. So not only will they have an office at City Hall like it is now, but they'll also have an office in the district. So how much easier is that to be involved with the community and really represent all of Portland, which a lot of people feel hasn't been the case until now. Now the mayor is going to be over here, over kind of the city and the orchard. So the mayor does have some involvement with council, like tie breaking and stuff. But I've been informed, and more tea on this later, that it's almost never going to happen. because one of these people, I don't want to pick which one of these people will be the chair of the council. So they will have some leadership. But let's get these guys out of here because we need to make the main city org chart. So let's also remember there's like already like 12 people running in each of these districts, but they only get 3. Plus, you can decide to run up until like August. You can't even file, I think, till June. So we might have like, 500 people running in each district. But don't worry, I'm going to help you through that. Okay, now we have the mayor. This is not a good mayor. Let's get a better mayor because there will be a new mayor. We'll just placehold, my second grade photo as the mayor, just as a placeholder. So now there'll be this mayor over here, and they drew the org chart sideways because it's better for space on a page, but also I think because it makes people less mad to see themselves flowing to the side than this kind of hierarchy. Whatever, it's the same thing. Just you heard it here first, folks. Okay, so now there is the chief administrator. So this is kind of like the CEO in a business where the CEO is out and about, or executive director is like out and about, representing the people, communicating, talking about, the chief admin is like the COO, chief operating officer, that's making sure everything's actually running internally. This to me is like the most important job in our new government. The person currently in that role is named Michael Jordan. I kid you not. Really good guy, tons of experience in government. He's not going to stay on, but he's going to help the transition. He is leading the transition. He can explain it really well. We'll definitely get him on here. But this will be a new person. And there's already a recruiting firm looking for this person to present the new mayor with options. My personal opinion is that this shouldn't be somebody who already works for the city of Portland. I would really like to see this be someone new, fresh, ideas, experienced. Let's get some new, fresh stuff going on in here because this mayor may or not be a current commissioner. We have some of the 3 of the commissioners running, some non-commissioners running. And we still don't know. More people might run. So, chief admin, he can't do it all himself. So what they've done is group the bureaus logically. Now you would think that has already happened, right? And what is a bureau? A bureau is like the expertise in a certain area. So we have, as you know, like Parks and Recreation is a bureau. Transportation is a bureau. Water is a bureau. So we have so many bureaus. And the mayor, up until this point, has had the power to reassign bureaus to different commissioners. So it's been a whole jumble, right? Like, why would this commissioner who has never worked with, emergency response ever in any form be over emergency responders? But that's the way it works now. So they did something smart at the beginning of this year. They started moving the bureaus into logical groups under the current commissioners. But now they're going to start moving things over. And some of the commissioners have some feelings about that because they still want, I don't know why they have feelings. I think they have feelings about it because they still want to like create some wins for their campaigns, or like they think they know the best how to do it, but like again, their attention is split. Like, let's get it moving. Let's go. It's a new game. Let's do it. So let's talk about where the bureaus get grouped. Are you still with me? Hang on with me because this is like the stuff you don't have to ever watch anything else. I'm going to tell you everything you need to know. So, oh gosh, why did I do it this way? Okay. So there's 6 groups. I may not be able to get through all of these. So I'm doing this from memory. So here's a group: asset management, fleet facilities. Oh no, this is supposed to be a 3rd group, but I'm just going to do it in out of order. Okay. What's asset management? Well, the city owns assets, right? So somebody has to manage it. Fleet and facilities. Well, the city owns buildings and cars and things like that. So we got to have that under control. HR, obviously, they're having a busy year, right? Everyone moving around. We're gonna hire people, so they handle training and onboarding and all the legal stuff. They have a big job. Security. I think for the city itself, not for the people. 311. Have you called 311? They are the best. They know their stuff. If you need something from the city, you're not sure who to talk to because it's really confusing right now, call 311. They're just call them and tell them they're doing a great job. They are an absolute delight. Procurement. What's procurement? They're the people I email back and forth a million times before I have a city contract underway. So they are helping the people who have to hire outside people to get them onboarded. Some bureaus have procurement within it, but it's like these are the people who get my contracts together, make sure I have insurance so the city is not liable if I make a mistake as a contractor. Um, Making sure I have my certification as a woman owned and minority owned business in the state of Oregon. So they're just doing a lot of that admin support around contracting. Oh, and they're also helping, of course, with the requests for proposals. So, say a bureau needs some work done, they can help put that out so that they can get bids and then choose the best for the job. Special projects, no idea what that is. Tech, obviously, the city has computers and software, so someone's got to run that. All right, now the next group is gonna never gonna be able to fit this. Got business operations, the budget. Oh, this was supposed to be first. Revenue, financial services, metaphor. Revenue, financial services, and fire and police, disability, and retirement. So this is money, right? Money stuff. So I don't know if business ops is supposed to be right here. Okay. So budget obvious, finance obvious. This is cool. We worked with these fellows. Fire and police, disability and retirement. They're the ones who manage all the pensions and if somebody has a disability claim in the fire department or police department, because obviously those are really risky jobs. And so their team is so on point. Like people forget that that bureau exists because they're so good. They're like the zero trouble bureau, knock on wood, but they are really great. Okay, let's get another group. Put in the bureaus together. Planning and sustainability, BPS. Housing, right? Permitting and development services. I believe this is a new title for that one. Prosper Portland. That is like our whole business economic development one. And while you might be like, oh, business, economic development, so evil. Actually, well, we have to have an economy as a city. And the people who work there are super smart, super care about equity and making things fair and giving opportunity to everyone. Everyone I've met there, I'm like, thank you for working at the city. So you can look forward to more great things from them. And I'm gonna put over here spectator venues. Why on earth? I don't. What does that even mean? Because Metro runs the venues. I thought so. Someone's gonna have to help me understand it. Help me understand this. So zoom in, watch this on the big screen. You're seeing bureau collections. Oh, we got two more. So another cluster. Never gonna fit all these. Community safety, of course. We've got all the people whose job it is to keep us safe. So emergency communications, dispatching, right, to the emergency 911. Emergency management. Oh no, there's an ice storm. Who's going to help manage it? Emergency management. Board of Police Accountability and Oversight. Now, I didn't know they were in the org chart until just now, but I'm actually might be part of that, which is very exciting. But, I'll let you know. Police and fire. Now, how logical is that? Right now, these guys are spread out amongst like several commissioners in different bureau groups. Like, makes no sense. But putting them all together has been in the works for years, and now it's really happening. Okay, where are we going to put these guys? Up here. Arts, natural areas, and trees. These are all different, like, bureaus or offices. So if you're thinking of getting a job at the city, this is a good way to figure out where you might be a good fit. Parks and Rec and the Children's Levy, which I've never understood it or levy. I've never understood what that is. Forgive me. And then we're gonna have to come over here. Environmental services, transportation, that's PBOT, and water. Okay, well, this person, man, woman, other, cannot manage all these people. So each of these places has a director or manager. You can't manage 20 people. That's ridiculous. So now there's a deputy city administrator, and they each are over one of the groups. They get, well, in the org chart, they're over here, right? Because they manage this group and report up to what's going on. Things are going to start falling down. Okay, I guarantee you. So each of them gets a deputy city administrator. Well, it kind of matches my shirt. How nice. All right, here we go. Here's the grouping names: budget and finance. Where does that go? Obviously, with whoa, we're getting logical. Imagine. City operations. I'm going to guess this one. So this is the deputy city administrator of city operations. Now, oh, community and economic development. That's kind of a big category, but we had to make some decisions, right? Obviously here. Public safety, obviously here. Vibrant communities, that's kind of vague. So, no, it's not. What makes us vibrant? Parks, the arts, totally. And public works is that. So, already so much more logical, right? City council can govern, bureau directors can run their bureaus, and then they've got support from the deputy city administrators. And then these people all make sure chief admin knows what chief admin needs to know. Love this. Wait, you're wondering, what about the other things I've heard of that the city has? Well, the mayor is still going to have the city attorney. Okay. And the chief of police. Now, does that mean the chief of police doesn't work with the actual police? No, that's not what that means. But, I think the mayor appoints the chief of police. So the chief of police always reports to the mayor. That's just how it goes. That's important. Maybe the chief of police can explain it completely. So there's also the auditor. So the auditor makes sure people are doing what they're supposed to be doing. They audit them, kind of like when you get your taxes audited, but even more, because it'll be like, well, you guys were supposed to show these results and I'm not happy with that. So here's your audit. You need to respond to it and actually do the things that you say you're going to do. So we definitely want a city auditor. And why did I put a star there? I think because I was wondering if that's an elected role. And then hearings. So there's hearings that happen. Well, there's a few more. There's another line. So there's going to be an assistant city administrator. And if you're thinking too much admin, I disagree, because 6,800 employees, you need to have some structure, right? And this is very good. So and then there's going to be the Office of Equity, and there's going to be a Chief Equity Officer. So have you see all the blues are kind of like VP levels, right? And then there's going to be, oh, sorry, the Chief Sustainability Officer. She's great. All right. So over here under the Assistant City Administrator comes communications, the Office of Community and Civic Life, which I'm curious why they're here and not over here where they kind of have been thus far. But I think their functions changing because they used to be the bureau that kind of caught all the things the other bureaus did, but they help with like all the neighborhood associations and things. They are great too. Um, Council operations, so with all those people in council and coordinating policy from over here and bringing it to council, they need some help. Government relations and Portland Solutions. And we can break that down another time, but Portland Solutions has some things around housing, and we'll do that another time. So this looks a little crazy right now. We will put a link to the organized digital org chart on our page. Oh, but one more thing. There are commissions of citizens in a lot of the that kind of advise a lot of these bureaus or just represent the community, right? So there's different commissions, and that's great. So this is where we have opportunities to get involved other than just writing annoyed emails to our electeds and the bureau directors, which let's keep that more to city council because these people are trying to run the city. And every time you email them about pothole, when you could just call the pothole hotline or 311, you're stopping them from getting the work done that they need to do. I promise the information is going to get back to them, but don't be one of these people who CCs everyone in the city because you are upset about something. It's like you're just holding up the work that needs to be done. I'm not saying your problem isn't legitimate. I'm saying report it to the right person. And yes, it's confusing right now, but look, now it's getting more clear. And you can just start with calling 311 and find out, right? So here's you're calling 311, you're electing the mayor, and there's city council over there that's now on my library floor. Well, it's looking good. I'm pretty happy with this. Now, let me give you some tea. I had the opportunity to go to a really cool event this week. My buddy Steven was the moderator of this panel, and the panel was Michael Jordan, current chief admin, not next year's necessarily, and three other city managers. And the audience was people from the city and a lot of people who are running for city council. So that's another reason, if you want to run for city council, to get in the race now, because there's a lot of resources happening to start onboarding people already, because we know that we're all trying to figure this out. And it was so cool to hear from actual city managers. We had Beaverton, we had Minneapolis, and we had someone from the Southeast. I can't remember exactly. But it was so interesting, right? And people could ask questions about how this is all going to work. But I want to tell you some of the pro tips that I heard at this event. And one thing that Michael Jordan said that I really liked was that your role in this new form of government is to know your job and stay in your lane. Who do we lose? Oh no, the public. All right, here you are. This is important, of course, because if this person is trying to do this job, right, or this person is trying to do that job, then our city doesn't run well. But for the city council, especially, they're not coming in to run bureaus. And if you are a commissioner running again, or somebody is familiar with this form of government, they need to understand that what it is now is not the job description for next year. So know your job. The thing they stressed more than anything was the importance of the mayor and council working together from day one. Now, you kind of worry that that's going to be an antagonistic relationship, but everyone's doing everything they can to make sure that these 12 people on council work together, that it's not a bunch of Congress drama or anything like that, because we are going to be building the plane while we're flying it. Everybody's got to be part of the solution. All right. They talked about having a strategic plan for the entire city, which I really love. Of course, it would be a very open and public process. I wish I knew a company that can do strategic planning and help them with an outside perspective, lots of expertise, and a specialization in community engagement. Um, the other thing is, they gave some pro tips on what makes a good city councilor in this form of government. And I wrote these down because I thought this was great advice for anybody in public office. So they can see the big picture, right? It's not just what I'm doing, my little cause, the only things that are important to me, my own glorification. They need to see this big picture and the big picture of all of Portland and know that we are playing chess, long game, not checkers. All right. They need to be introspective. So self aware, right? Know when you're getting out of your lane and think through these different issues. Don't just jump to conclusions without the information. I heard this several times, humility, right? So this can be a hard one. You've been pumping yourself up on the campaign trail, selling yourself to all, that doesn't sound right. Selling the public on you as the right person to pick for this role. Now, once you're elected, it's time to get humble and get to work. All right. Really understanding collective priorities, emotional intelligence, and the ability to listen. Being humble and curious, which is a great trait for any job. Um, People who have worked with you already loved working with you. Open minded, willing to challenge your own opinions, having a service mindset of being helpful to the city and being here to serve. I love this. And I think those are exactly the characteristics we should be looking for in the people we vote for this November. Don't worry, you don't have to remember all of this. I will remind you as we go. Fridays, Portland Tea Party, live stream, YouTube, LinkedIn, my LinkedIn profile, Ciara Pressler. Please subscribe on YouTube so you see our latest episodes coming up in your feed. Please share those. Like the episode, drop in the comments if you have any more information about all these things. I know some of these roles are already being filled. We've got 3 DCAs already decided, the people shuffling and moving within the city. I am advocating all the time for some of these roles to be coming from outside the current city employee pool. And, let's all have our opinions, make sure those are informed opinions and reality based opinions. Call 311 or write a letter or call your electeds when you are frustrated about something. And obviously, keep watching Portland Tea Party for all the news on Portland's transition, meeting our leaders, having candid conversations with them, and the tea on how it's really going. It's all falling. Have a good weekend.